Welcome to Criterion Critique. I'm Bryce Payne. This brand new series delves deep into the filmverse, covering Criterion Collection's newest releases, as they usually give us a new film every week and box sets every few months. On January 5th, 2021, they started the year by giving us a set called 3 Films by Louis Bunuel. These are my first real experiences with his filmography, so let's first discuss who Bunuel was and give you some simple background on this iconic director. Louis Bunuel was born February 22nd, 1900 in Spain. His first film was Un Chien Andalou, made in 1929 with the artist Salvador Dali. He went on to make films for the next 48 years of his life, with his final work being That Obscure Object of Desire in 1977. He made films in 3 languages, French, Spanish, and English, in multiple countries. This box set, which Criterion released on the 5th, contains The Discrete Charm of the Bourgeoisie, The Phantom Liberty, and finally, Obscure Object of Desire, all of which are in French. The first film I watched was The Discrete Charm of the Bourgeoisie, which I had no clue what it was about, and even thought that this film was The Exterminating Angel, which is a different film altogether. As my first real experience delve into his work, I have to say I was slightly underwhelmed. The film follows 6 friends as they try to sit down for a meal together. However, every time they start to, something gets in the way. This could be something as simple as getting the day wrong to finding out that a dead body is in the back room of an inn. This is the format of the film and repeats itself over and over, and eventually getting into an Inception type of concept by diving deep into their dreams. Bunuel conceived with the idea of the film after he announced his retirement in 1970 due to fears that he was repeating himself in his work. However, then he met with Serge Silberman, who told him about the time he forgot a dinner party and was met with 6 hungry friends expecting dinner. The film was born. The film also won Best Foreign Picture at the 1973 Academy Awards. I won't dive too much into what happens, as I believe that if you watch it yourself, you'll be more drawn into it. And to be completely honest with you, I have no real idea how to describe this film other than it's an insane ride. The second film in the set is The Phantom Liberty, which follows several characters through several vignettes. So the way that works is one character goes from one story to another, and then another character from that story moves into another, etc., etc. The film constantly follows the theme of chance and how one person's actions can link into someone else's lives, which makes it an entertaining watch. Now, while watching it took me about 20 minutes to realize this format, which made me even more engaged as I wanted to see how they all connected. The film moves along at a lightning speed, so that you see a man getting whipped by a dominatrix turn into a story about a man who can't eat in front of people but can defecate at a dining room, in one of the most iconic scenes of the film. This film was also not nominated for Best Foreign Film at the Academy Awards, but the film was nominated for Best Foreign Language Film by the U.S. National Board of Review. I would say this felt more like a surrealist piece of work than Discrete Charm did, and it's definitely the one that I would recommend the most out of the 3. But that doesn't discount the final film in the set, which was also Bunuel's final film, The Obscure Object of Desire. This film is mostly told through flashback, as it follows an aging man as he tells this group of people on his train the story as why he dumped a bucket of water on a young woman on the platform. Now, normally this story structure wouldn't work for me, but the amount of charm used as it cuts back to the people on the train while they go through tunnels or have their tickets checked is so high that it makes the film barely feel like a flashback. So Matthew is an aging man who falls in love with his young maid and tries whatever he can to, well, be blunt, get laid. Now, there are other themes in this film, but that was my main takeaway from the plot. Now, the film has this constant use of cat and mouse technique, having him say he's done with her only to run into her again somewhere else. The relationship never gets sexual, much to his dismay, yet she makes some solid points about why it can't, even saying, "Once I give you what you want, you won't love me anymore," which I actually think would happen. This relationship is constantly getting weirder and weirder, with at one point him finding out she's a dancer, dancing nude for tourists. I won't spoil anything else that happens, but it was a fun time, yet compared to the other two, felt extremely more like a typical movie. Now, for my first venture into his work, I had to say I enjoyed my time. I think this will be a worthy addition to the Criterion Collection, especially with anyone who's into these out-of-print titles, because these have been out of print for a really long time. I'll leave a link below in Amazon and the Criterion Collection's website where you can purchase your own copy of the set. So that does it for this week's Criterion Critique. Next week, we will dive into spine number 1061, Minding the Gap by Bing Liu, and I, for one, am so excited to watch it.